Peace, everyone. How y'all doing? Peaceful Saturday. I'm starting this one off a little earlier today because of my woo. I don't even know what to call it, but my body's feeling funny, so I got to jump in. So the title is "From Street Lessons to Spiritual Wars: My Journey Back." I'm back.
Real one never break. Let's go. Real one never break. We don't fall. Pressure made diamonds, I stood tall. Yeah. Came from the bottom, now I ball. Heart too solid, I can't fold at all. Real one never break. We don't fold. Built for the storm, built for the cold. Came from the dirt, now chasing gold. Story too real, it gotta be told.
All right, y'all. That's real one don't break. I consider myself a real one, so I'm gonna get into this story without hesitation. Now, it started in '96. I had a rough childhood growing up with no parents parenting me. Though they was in my life, my mother was in Chicago. She sent me to Arkansas to live with my father. Now, my father's not the greatest father that ever lived, based up on society standards and stuff. But he did what other fathers wouldn't do. He raised me. Now, the way he raised me wasn't the typical way he raised nobody, because him and my mother had seen 7 other children before I made it here. I'm the 8th child, but truly, I'm the 7th child because one child had passed away in a crib death as a baby. Now, they seen a lot. They worked miracles with the mother children because they raised the mother children. They didn't work a miracle with me. They just brought me into this world. So I've had abandonment issues all my life because I was the last when nobody else around. I had 2 brothers that stayed in the house at the same time I was sent down here in the state. One had left, the one went to college up in Jonesboro, Arkansas. The other one was in the 12th grade. He left in '89, went to the military. The '90s was all call, all by itself. Never fearful, because there was shotguns in the house. I would get the shotgun, go lay under the bed with the shotgun and go to sleep, hoping I didn't shoot my father when he came in the house and was doing stuff that I didn't know. But never fearful. This is where I get my fearless mentality from. Because I've always lived in what I consider danger. Because my father had 2 jobs, one in the daylight, one in the night. He was never home at night. He'll pop up, go to sleep, get a little rest, and go to the next job and stuff. And I couldn't understand that as a child. But this is how I was raised. So, like my father in heaven, my mother and father allowed me to do whatever I wanted to do without whooping me, without punishment, without any of these things. This is called grace, people. I was given grace as a youngster by my mother and father to live and to learn life, real life, however really get. Because in the South, if your parents is not there or they working, nobody's there to watch you. You're going to get in rice pumps, which you can drown and die because you're playing in rice pumps. Or you can go to the river and get drowned and die in the river. Everything was dangerous. We didn't play with nothing that wasn't dangerous. Y'all play with cell phones and those type of things. We didn't have those things back when I was growing up in the '90s. So my parents left me in a dangerous environment. My environment wasn't nothing but danger. The people I played with was dangerous because their parents weren't raising them either. They was bullies, they was hooligans, they was everything under the sun. A southern version of what y'all experienced up north. So my mother thought she was doing a great job getting me away from the bricks, sending me to the dirt. They was just as dirty. The only difference is they was gangs up there and they was families down here. If you got a friend, they got 4 or 5. See, because parents down here in the South, back in the day, they used to have 13, 14 children. Imagine growing up in a family with 14 children. You know how many first cousins you may have? How many first, second, and third cousins you may have? That's a gang in itself. And I was raised around families like that, where they had 13 and 14 siblings. And then they had babies and they babies had babies. And this is what I had to fight. This is what I was brought into the world to deal with. Now, when I came back to Arkansas in 96, I came back with a Hebrew Israelite mentality. Though I was never a Hebrew Israelite, I was raised under Hebrew Israelites. And when I came back, the people seen the mentality. They didn't understand it. They thought I was Muslim. Because I told them, I don't eat pork no more. And the only thing a Negro in the South know, you don't eat pork, or you must have been messing with the Nation of Islam or something, because they don't know in the Bible, it said you're not supposed to eat pork. They're that ignorant. And this is what I brought back to the Southern world. That mentality. And I learned quick that mentality don't work in the South. It don't work in the South. And I started changing it, 97, 98, and all that stuff. I was changing the mentality. I was getting out of the Hebrew Israelite mindset. I was on Facebook seeing people, I'm Hebrew Israelite, this and that and everything. And I seen the whole Hebrew Israelite mentality. Never liked it. I liked it from the church that I was dealing with, the Israel of God, because to me, it wasn't Hebrew Israelite, because they was lying, saying they was Bible Christians. And I grew up in the South and I knew all about Christians from a Southern perspective. And I thought they was hypocrites. I didn't want to deal with Christianity. So when they would start saying they was Bible Christians, I said, oh, this is something new. And I loved it, because the first person I met, I call him Energizer Jake, because his energy and his, even as an old man, Energizer Jake was the best way to explain it, right? He introduced me to this. So let's get into the lesson some. So when I came back and I had to learn this stuff, I had to figure out how to tell them about Jesus. So we're going to go Romans 11. We're going to go to 1. We're going to read 5. Then we're going to skip to 7, 25 through 27. I say then, has God cast away his people? God forbid. For I am an Israelite. That's what I proclaim today. I am an Israelite. And people don't know what an Israelite is. They think an Israelite is a Hebrew Israelite because they're ignorant. Of the seed of Abraham, of the tribe of Benjamin. This is Paul writing. God has not cast away his people which he foreknew. Everybody states that Israel been cast away. Paul is declaring that he's an Israelite, and I'm declaring to the world that I'm an Israelite. Not a Hebrew Israelite. If you ever say that about me, you're bearing false witness on me. And unless you had an audio or whatever that said I'm a Hebrew Israelite, You're bearing false witness. You're lying on them, as Jim Green did. So let's keep reading 2 again. God has not cast away his people, which he foreknew. Wote ye not what the scripture said of Elisha, how he made intercession to God against, how he made intercession to God against Israel, saying, Lord, Israel, they see us now, Lord, they have killed our prophets. So Israel and Hebrew Israelites, which think they Israel, they kill prophets. See, I know my people. The Bible speaks all about it. So let's pick it back up. Lord, they have killed thy prophets and dig down trenches, dig down thy altars, and I am left alone. And unto him, and I have reserved to myself 7,000 men who have not bowed their knee to the image of Baal. So this is Paul talking about Elisha, Elijah, however you say the name. 5 now. Even so then, at this present time, there is a remnant according to the election of grace. And I believe there's a remnant out there. But that remnant still got demons in their mind to this day because they won't stand up to no Hebrew Israelite leadership and let that lying man that won't submit to God mislead that whole congregation that they consider their brothers and sisters and stuff. I won't do that. I'm not around the congregation because if I was there, they would have to kill me. Because I consider myself an Israelite, a servant of God, a prophet, an elder, this, that, and the other, and I cannot stand up and allow that stuff to go on. But weak men allow it to go on. So, 3, Lord, they have killed our prophets and dig down thy altars, and I am left alone. And unto him I have reserved to myself 7,000 men who have not bowed the knee to the image of Baal. Even so then, at this present time, also there's a remnant according to the election of grace. What then? Israel have not attained that which they seek for, but the elect have. I consider myself an elect. I find a lot of people saying chosen ones, and they speak on chosen ones. They don't speak on the elect ones. I'm an elect one that's chosen to be an elect one. So it's a 7 again. What? Then Israel has not attained that which he seek for, but the elect has attained it, and the rest were blind. So I'm a rapper too. I be talking about part see, part blind, or that's that part that's blind when I be saying certain lyrical stuff. When I think of the rap, it's been a minute since I tried to rap and do stuff. But let's keep going. 25. For I would not, brethren, that you should be ignorant of the mystery. And there's a mystery that people are totally ignorant of. So let's keep reading though. Lest you should be wise in your own conceit. Your own conceit. People are wise in their conceit. Jim Green is a person that's wise in his own conceit. I find a lot of Christian apologetic people wise in their own deceit. I find a lot of Hebrew Israelites wise in their own deceit. I find a lot of predators wise in their own deceit because these people deceive themselves. They lie to themselves. You know they lie to you. But let's keep going. 25 again. For I will not, brother, that you should be ignorant of the mystery, lest you should be wise in your own conceit. That blindness in part is happening to Israel. Now, blindness in part. Y'all see the part that's blind. They running around calling themselves Hebrew Israelites. I've never been that blind. I've always considered myself Israel, and I've always considered myself a Christian. Because like I said, when I went to the Hebrew Israelite, the Israel of God, camp, church, or whatever you want to call it, they was Bible Christians. And they were stating that they was Israelites. Israelite Christians have always been my mentality. My siblings thought I say the Nation of Islam or something too, because they was looking at this and they was hearing me speak, and it was foreign to them. This is something they never heard before. It was never introduced to them. And so they're firm believers in Jesus, and they was attacking me. And I was like, I believe on Jesus just like you believe on Jesus. I believe he died for my sins. I understand all of this. What y'all talking about? Y'all don't understand what I know because y'all won't speak to me. And it was tearing me up because my siblings didn't know what I believed. They thought they knew what I believed, and they was assuming, making out of me and themselves, because they assumed. You would think mother and father was telling them and teaching them not to assume nothing. But they didn't teach me that, just like they didn't teach my siblings that. But let's keep going now. So, blindness in part has happened to Israel until the fullness of the Gentile become in. The fullness of the Gentile got to come in. Y'all ain't even seen the 10 toes and the image in Daniel. It hasn't came in yet. Predator said it came in 70 AD. Well, show it to me. Show it. You can't. And so all Israel shall be saved. All of Israel. Israel and those that sojourn with them, making themselves Israel. They doing as Israel does. So when God come and he see Israel doing what Israel does, even the stranger that sojourn or grafted into him doing the same thing that Israel does, how you gonna know who's who? Which we know God know all things. He gonna know that that's a physical seed of Jacob. But this one right over here is doing the same thing the physical seed doing. How you gonna kill the stranger? Or how you gonna kill the physical seed of Jacob if they doing what he told them to do? Anybody say anything against that or talk against that, they saying the Lord God of Israel is ignorant, dumb, deaf, and blind. He don't know what he talking about. This, that, and another. I don't care if you're white, black, Mexican, what skin tone you are. You better get some sense about yourself and understand who and what it is you're dealing with. But let's keep going. And so all Israel shall be saved, as it is written, there shall come out of Zion a deliverer, and shall turn away ungodliness from Jacob. It didn't say the world, it said from Jacob. That's why I just stated, to those that sojourn with the seed of Jacob. The church ain't a Gentile church. The church is an Israelite church. That the strangers was grafted in because the Lord God of Israel, Jesus Christ himself, came to Israel and gave the mysteries of the world to Israel. So Israel could teach the rest of the world, so the prophecy of people sojourning with them would make sense. The Bible got to make sense. If it don't make sense, I don't want to hear it. You can take that book and throw it away. I told William Bell, I tell anybody that. Where the Bible been fulfilled. Well, you don't need to do nothing. Take that book and throw it away. You don't need to know nothing. You know it's been fulfilled. Why you sitting up with a fulfilled book in your hand? If it's unfulfilled, Then you're going to go in there and you're going to learn something. But this is what ignorant people do. I never considered myself ignorant. 27. For this is my covenant unto them when I shall take away their sins. Whose sins? Who is the covenant made with? Is it made with the Gentiles or is it made with Israel and the house of Jacob? That's who it's made with. Go study the old covenant and the new covenant. It's the same covenant with the same people. That's why the Exodus shows you the foundation of the church. When Israel was coming out of, or should I say it where y'all can comprehend it and have future understanding? When the Hebrews was coming out of Egypt, a mixed multitude of people came out with Israel. That was the ecclesia. That was the church. Israel and the mixed multitude that sojourned with them, which was grafting in back then. So you can understand the future or the present. So, with that said, I'm going to go to Isaiah 49, 1 through 6, and verse 8. It said, listen, O isles, unto me, and hearken, ye people from afar. The Lord has called me from my mother's womb. From the bowels of my mother has he made mention of me. And he has made my mouth like a sharp sword. In the shadow of his hands have he hid me and made me a polished shaft. In the quiver has he hid me. And said unto me, thou art my servant, O Israel. That's not the people. That's why this is Israel's doctrine, because this Israel right here is Jesus Christ from his mother womb. This Israel is Jesus Christ. So when I say I teach Israel doctrine, I teach Jesus doctrine. And most people don't even know what I'm saying. They never understood this out here in these YouTube streets. Because like I said, I was getting street lessons, but I was also getting lessons to come out here and get into spiritual war. From Chicago to New York, I built this mindset because I seen Chicago Hebrew Israelites, I seen New York Hebrew Israelites. New York Hebrew Israelites like to play on the street corner. Foul individuals. They don't know nothing about proper organization because them cats up there was dealing with the Black Panthers, this, that, and that. They learned a different mindset up in New York City. Chicago, the Midwest is a different mindset. That's why I've always had beef with New York Hebrew Israelites. Tazariah, Daniela, Zion Lex, Divine Prospect, all these people never really knew about Chicago and Chicago Hebrew Israelites because Chicago Hebrew Israelites never represented like that. I'm the only one came out here and represented for Chicago and let them know the mindset of a Chicago Israelite, not a Hebrew Israelite. One that set up on the Hebrew Israelites, but never proclaimed it. That's why we had automatic beef. It was spiritual warfare from the jump. They never liked me because I had an Israelite Christian mindset and they had a Hebrew Israelite mindset. They ain't the same thing. Sinetta TV never understood that. He should have been facing me off with them because it was organic. It wasn't even made up. It was just there. When I debated Dr. Mayat, I defeated Dr. Mayat. Them Hebrew Israelites up there in New York City hated it because I was competition. This is my life. This is what I done. All them Israelites in Chicago was watching me doing everything I do. They was rooting for me. But because I would never say I was a Hebrew Israelite, they hated me also. Because they represent Hebrew Israelites. I never represented Hebrew Israelites. I represent what I call Israelite Christian. And because that, I had beef with Chicago Hebrew Israelites. Thank the Lord he got me up out of there, come to Arkansas to take care of my mother. Because if I was still in Chicago, ain't no telling what would have happened. Because they consider themselves real, and I know I'm real. I don't consider myself nothing but me. I'm organic. Everything that comes out of me is me. I was raised this way. It's in my DNA. So let's learn some more about this Israel right here. So he said, the Lord has called me from the womb. From the bowel of my mother has he made mention of my name. And he has made my mouth like a sharp sword. Go to Revelation and read about it. In the shadow has he hid. In the shadow has he hid me. Hold up. In the shadow, he has hid me. What? Whatever. Get away from me, fly. I can't even read it. We're going to go through. And said unto me, thou art my servant, O Israel, in whom I will be glorified. The Lord is glorified in Jesus. We are glorified in Jesus. He is the mediator. He gonna make everything turn out right, no matter how wrong you get in this world. For Israel, it's gonna turn out right. For now, then I said, I have labeled them vain. I had spent my strength for naught. This Jesus talking. I done died for these people, and it's for naught. It's for nothing. It's the thing. Because they want to run around be Hebrew Israelites. They don't want to be Israelites. They don't understand that Hebrews became Israelites. Gentiles became Israelites. They don't understand that because their teacher is ignorant. Because his teacher was ignorant. And his teacher was ignorant. It's a long line of ignorant people running around here thinking they know something and they don't know nothing. Though I have a problem reading everything, y'all hear my problems. I know something because I do good enough at reading to understand what I'm reading, because comprehension ain't never been a problem with me. Like I said, I've never been ignorant. And for that, they knew if he can read, he gonna be hell to deal with. Don't teach him how to read. And they hid that from me forever. Y'all just don't know. So 5 again. And now said the Lord that formed me from the womb to be his servant, to bring Jacob again to him. Though Israel be not gathered, yet shall I be glorified. That's Jesus speaking. Though Israel ain't gathered, the Hebrew and the stranger that became Israel, the true Israel of God, though they ain't gathered yet, I'm going to be glorified. But we just heard him say, I did this all for vain. I did all this for no. Because as a flesh and blood human being, we all have something that kicks in at time and bring doubt. Because Satan, that's the power he was given to put thoughts and seeds in your head, hoping they grow. If you let them grow, you're dead. If you don't let them grow, you're this and that. That's why I told y'all I used to sleep up under the bed with a shotgun. That same double barrel y'all used to see on the camera, it's the same double barrel when I was a young boy. I used to sleep up under the bed with it. Wake up, get away from up under there, just in case my father come on. He don't know I'm up under that bed with this shotgun and get shot. Cause I ain't never ran around afraid, though I was afraid. As my elder brother said, if you're afraid, go buy you some courage. What he was saying, if you're afraid, go get you a gun, which is your courage, and stand like a man. Lace your boots tight and be ready for the warfare. But it's already in me because I'm an Aries. Oh, he this and that. He think this way. It's in my DNA. I can't do nothing else but fight. You love fighting, Kyle. You love this. I don't love this stuff. It's just, it's in me. It's natural. You bring it, we finna fight. People see me now. They see my left side ain't working like it's supposed to. That power is dormant. It looked like paralysis and all that, but if I move it, it moves. And if I snatch you, you snatch. God did that so you can sleep on me. That's power in itself. So you will look at me as weak, and when you run up, you be like, oh Lord, this is a monster I to mess with here. And I'm telling my enemies what it is because I'm warning you. You can play around and mess around, as they say in the streets, F around and find out. If you really want to know, come text 6. And he said, it is a light thing that thou should be my salvation to raise up the tribes of Jacob and to restore the preserved of Israel. I will also give you for a light to the Gentiles. So why are Hebrew Israelites mad at Jesus Christ or mad at anybody for taking light to the Gentiles? We're Israelites. We're supposed to shine to the whole world so they may see the glory of God in us. But Hebrew Israelites like to say the Gentiles can't get salvation because they had an ignorant teacher teaching them. And I know this to be a fact because the Hebrew Israelite teacher in Chicago that I set up under, I thought he was the best man in the world till I realized, excuse my French, this nigga ignorant. That's what I said because I'm a realist. I'm going to say it how I feel it. Brother Bowie, Henry Bowie, because he was Brother Bowie. When I found out he was ignorant, he became Henry Bowie. Because I seen him as the man he was. Before then, he was shining to me. But I studied him and I realized this nigga ignorant. And he don't want to talk to me because he got ignorant niggas around him saying if you talk to him, it's going to be a problem. Why is it going to be a problem? Everything I know, he taught me. David taught me, Marlon taught me, but the Lord God of Israel, this Israel that we're reading about right here, taught me what I needed to know. Greater than any man. That's why I am who I am. He brought me into this world under the Aries and everything else that I am. He made me who I am today. He gave me the life and everything that made who I am today. And just like I die for him, I will give up stuff to live for him. Men like to say, I do this and do that, and I die for this. But the question is, will you do this and do that to live to that? I keep his laws, statutes, and commandments. I do this and I do everything he asks me because that's how strong it is. Strong enough to die is strong enough to live too. This my life. This my testimony. Ain't no Negro out here in these streets that's assuming anything gonna make it out of me. They make one out of themselves, because I'm gonna tell my story. I'm gonna testify to what the Lord did done for me. He did a lot of things for me and to me. He didn't walk me through the fire. Carl, you shouldn't do that. Carl, you ain't no scary bone in my body. You gonna lose money. You do it. I might lose and do anything, all that stuff. It's all good. Just as they took it, I built it. I know how to build it back. You can take it, but you can't take the knowledge that built it. I see everybody out here trying to be my clone. It's very flattering, but you'll never be me. You can be with me, you can roll with me. If not, you're going to roll under me. So, 6 again. And he said, it's a light thing that thou should be my salvation to raise up Israel. Well, let me read it like it says, because I did blacked out. Should be my salvation to raise up the tribes of Jacob and to restore the preserving Israel. I will also give thee to a light to the Gentile, that thou might be my salvation unto the end of the earth. Thus said the Lord, in a acceptable time have I heard thee, and in the day of salvation shall I help thee, and I will preserve thee and give thee for a covenant of the people to establish the earth, to cause the inheritance, the desolation heritage. I ain't never really read this before. As I said, I have reading problems. People, bear with me. Isaiah 42, 1-4. Behold, my servant, whom I uphold, my elect, in whom my soul delight. I have put my spirit upon you. He shall bring forth judgment to the Gentiles. Once again, I never leave the Gentiles out, because the Bible speaks about them all the time. People just don't know how they're relevant to Israel, because it's always Israel, Israel, Israel. But the Gentiles is living too. The Lord got to deal with them and speak on them too. You got to just read the scriptures, and Hebrew Israelites won't read Gentile scriptures. He shall not cry, nor lift up, nor cause his voice to be heard in the streets. When they was killing Jesus, they ain't hear his voice. A bruised reed shall he not break, and a smoke fleck shall he not quench. He shall bring forth judgment unto truth. He shall not fall nor be discouraged, till he have set judgment in the earth, and the owl shall wait for his law. Because Jesus got a law. People don't know. The 10 Commandments is Jesus. He the one spoke them to Moses. And then the people said, we want him to shut up. Just like when he came in the flesh, they said, we want him to shut up, and they killed him. Back then, if they could have killed God, they'd have killed him. They couldn't kill him when he was in God form. They killed him when he became flesh and blood. But people don't know he was in God form. They ignorant of that. Matthew 12, 14-21. Then the Pharisee went out and held a council against him, how they might destroy him. But when Jesus knew it, he withdrew himself from thence, and a great multitude followed him. And he held them all, and charged them that should not, hold up, I'm looking at it wrong, and charged them that they should not make him known, that it might be fulfilled, which was spoken by Elisha the prophet, saying, behold, my servant whom I have chose, my beloved in whom my soul is well pleased. I will put my spirit upon him, and he shall show judgment to the Gentiles. He shall not strive nor cry, neither shall any man hear his voice in the street. A bruised reed shall he not break, and a smoke fleck shall he not quench, till he set forth judgment unto victory, and in his name shall the Gentiles trust. See, Jesus Christ is a trust unto the Gentiles too, but he's the God of Israel. So the Gentiles got to convert. That's the biblical term. They got to convert and be Israelites. Nobody ever told them that, because a wicked Hebrew Israelite won't inform the Gentile. The Israel of God will, but they weak at it too. It's not their main priority. That's why they the Israel of God. I created a class called the Israel of God, the mixed multitude, the church, because I'm in full understanding of what God did and how he did it. So that's the show for the day, people. I might do another show later and everything, but I just feel like talking to the people. So leave a comment, tell me what you thought about what I'm saying. If you're a Gentile, I just gave you the walkway to the kingdom, where if you understand it and you walk in the way that the Lord God of Israel wants you to walk, just like Israel, you'll make it into the kingdom. I'll see you there. With that said, leave a comment. Peace. I'm out.